All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about RIOT Blockchain. RIOT just put out their monthly update for the month of July yesterday. Also, they had a proxy vote recently that I know a lot of people were very interested in. So I want to go through the results of both of those things. So RIOT is a Bitcoin mining company. We talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners all the time on this channel. So if you're new here or if you have not yet subscribed, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody would smash the like button, that would be a big favor. That's the thing that helps this video and this channel the most, so I appreciate it so much. Okay, let's talk about RIOT Blockchain. Right now they're trading at $8.09. I'm in the middle of the trading day on August 4th today. So that puts them back over a $1 billion market cap. RIOT had moved under $1 billion all the way down to about 500 million. To put this in perspective, last year, from February of last year through November of 2021, RIOT was between a $4 and $5 billion company. So they went from $5 billion down to $500 million. So you can see that's a 90% pullback in their market cap. They've since now doubled again. And we'll take a look at that when we look at the chart, but just trying to put in a little perspective of what's going on. This is a highly volatile stock in a highly volatile industry. Those of you who follow the channel, you guys know the Bitcoin miners move even more than Bitcoin. So first I want to get to the monthly operational update, and then I will go through the proxy vote, because a couple of very interesting things happened. Actually, things that I did not expect to happen. So there are chapters below. If that's all you're interested in, you can skip ahead, but I recommend watching the whole video. So let's get to the monthly update. Okay, RIOT Blockchain announces July 2022 production and operations update. RIOT produced 318 Bitcoin in July 2022, while contributing to the power grid, stability in Texas, and further strengthening financial position, generating estimated power credits of $9.5 million. So a couple of big things there, one of which is kind of a brand new thing, and it's a pretty big deal. So the first thing is they did 318 Bitcoin. I'm gonna go to the bullet points below, and it'll kind of explain this a little bit better as we go. So this is Bitcoin production and operations update. In July of 2022, RIOT produced 318 Bitcoin, a decrease of approximately 28% as compared to July of 2021 production of 443 Bitcoin, while significantly reducing overall power costs through effective employment of its proprietary power strategy. So their year-over-year number is down, which definitely is something you don't want to see. Month over month, they're down as well. A couple of months ago, they had mined over 500 Bitcoin in the month. So they're down to 318 Bitcoin. So on the face of it, that information alone would tend to not look good. However, there's massive mitigating circumstances, to the extent of which, actually, it seems like in July, between the power credits they got, it was actually one of their best months they've ever had. So let me read the next bullet point. RIOT earned an estimated $9.5 million in power credits as a result of curtailment activity to be credited against the power invoices. The $9.5 million in power credits equates to approximately 439 Bitcoin, computed by using the July 2022 average Bitcoin price of $21,634. So that's 439 Bitcoin in addition, if you do the math that way. I do the math another way. That's $9.5 million in power credits. That's almost a month's worth of power they now have in credit. So this is massively reducing their cost of sales. And I don't know how they're accounting for this, whether they account for this as revenue or an offset against cost of sales. Either way, they made $9.5 million with this move. So between the 439 Bitcoin equivalent in that credit and the 318 that they mined, that's 757 Bitcoin. That would be the best month they've ever had by far. So from that standpoint, RIOT did have an excellent July. Okay, the next bullet point, as of July 31st, 2022, RIOT held approximately 6,696 Bitcoin, all produced by the company's self-mining operations. So they still have a very strong Bitcoin position on their balance sheet. I believe that's the third most out of all the publicly traded companies. I think Marathon is first, Hut 8 is second, and RIOT is third. I believe that's true. In July 2022, RIOT sold 275 Bitcoin, generating net proceeds of approximately $5.6 million. So this is consistent with their strategy for most of this year. What they have been doing is selling somewhere between 250 and 300 Bitcoin a month to pay for operations. The rest they're putting on their balance sheet. So you'll see even in this month where they backed off their production substantially, they still mined 318 and spent 275. So they still did hodl some Bitcoin this month. Riot currently has a deployed fleet of 40,311 miners with a hash rate capacity of 4.2 exahash per second. Now that is actually down. They peaked a couple of months ago at about 4.6 exahash per second. And when I say peaked, they're not done growing. So this is a temporary peak. They're taking this opportunity while they're curtailing their energy anyway to move some machines around and be more effective and more cost effective. They have other machines that were being hosted elsewhere. They're bringing those in-house into Texas to host them themselves. They're refurbishing some machines to switch them over to immersion cooling, which should make them more efficient. The little bit of reduction in exahash rate really doesn't make any difference since they're curtailing their electric use anyway. And again, this should facilitate a lower cost structure going forward. Okay, just as a note, Riot's Q2 2022 financial report is planned released after the market closes Tuesday, August 9th. So that is next week. So that will be Q2. That will be the period ended June 30th, 2022. What I will be looking most for in that is what were their direct costs and what were their overhead. The revenue, we all know, is not going to be very good because it is directly tied to the price of Bitcoin, and we know that the price of Bitcoin has gone down. But what I would like to see is their direct cost per Bitcoin from an energy standpoint, as well as how they're managing their overhead. Okay, before I go through the chart and do the price action, I want to go through this proxy vote because there was a couple of very interesting things, and I know some people were very worked up about it, and I think everybody's going to be happy with how this all turned out. There were 5 items on the proxy vote, 2 that I think people were very interested in, 1 in particular that I got an immense amount of feedback that people were very concerned about. And that one was they wanted to increase the number of authorized shares. They actually wanted to double the number of authorized shares for the company, which could potentially lead to a lot of dilution in their stock in the future. So that had people very scared. They filed this Schedule 14A the day before the proxy vote. And what this is withdrawal of proposal from stockholder consideration. The purpose of this supplement is to withdraw from stockholder consideration at the annual meeting Proposal 4 set forth in the proxy statement, which asked for stockholder approval to increase the number of shares of common stock authorized for issuance thereafter. Obviously, whatever the feedback they were getting, it was negative enough that they actually took this off the proxy vote. So they didn't even vote on it. So those of you who did not want this to happen, it did not happen. In fact, it didn't even go to a vote. So taking it off the ballot altogether surprised me. I want to look at one other thing that was on the ballot that I think most people were looking for as well, and I was a little bit surprised by this one also. Proposal number 3 was one that had piqued people's interest as well. This was the advisory's vote on the company's executive compensation. So you'll see here about 13.3 million votes for, about 17.2 million votes against. So this did not pass. So you'll see here it says, accordingly, by advisory vote of the stockholders, the company's executive compensation for the year ended December 31st, 2021 was not approved. So I know executive compensation, particularly in the Bitcoin mining space, has been a big issue with a lot of investors. There's been a lot of non-cash compensation in the form of stock and options. Given the fact that there's been such a pullback in stock price and in the price of Bitcoin, I know a lot of people have been upset about executive compensation. So I would guess that most of you are happy that proposal number 3 failed. You're even happier that proposal number 4 was just taken off the ballot altogether. So no extra stock dilution, and the compensation for the executives was not approved. Now let's take a look at the chart and see what's going on with Riot. Okay, so this is Riot on the 1-day time frame, and this is basically most of the year 2022. So what I wanted to show you is on January 24th, Riot hit a 52-week low of $12.93. Pretty much all the Bitcoin miners hit a low on that day. There was a flash crash in Bitcoin on that day. So that was down to $12.93. Well, from there, that was in late January. By July, this stock was down to $4.02. If we go from that point to its low, it went down almost another 70%. So altogether, this stock pulled back over 90% from its high of 2021 to its low of 2022. However, from that low, which was on July 5th, so that was just 1 day less than 1 month ago, the price of Riot stock has more than doubled. So that is to the middle of the trading day today. It's a 101% increase in the price of their stock, and that is from $4.02 at their low to $8.07 at the moment. And I will tell you, they have been down all day. They were as high as $8.83 at one point in the trading day today. So this has made a massive 100% plus move to the upside in the last 1 month. Now, on the flip side of that, all that does is get them back to where they were price-wise on May 10th. So that was just a few months ago. So it was a big ride down. That's a 50% pullback. And then to get back to where they were is a 100% increase. So I guess my point is this is an extremely volatile stock. At $8, it's still much closer to its 52-week low than it is to its 52-week high, but it did just have a 100% run up. So I just want to remind everybody, this is not financial advice. Please take a look at this one and do your own due diligence, because you can see these stocks are very volatile. The last thing I want to take a look at is the daily RSI for Riot. And you'll see on July 21st, it got up to 68.76. That was a high. It went from oversold. It never did get into overbought territory. 70 and above is considered overbought territory. And you can see Riot has not been there all year in the year 2022. Most of the stock movements occur over 50, which is neutral on the RSI. So you can see this has already had a big run up. It's doubled in price. It's very near its high for the year on the RSI. However, in previous runs, this has gotten into the mid 80s. So if Bitcoin does have a big run, there's still a bunch of room left here. If Bitcoin does not have a big run, then it does kind of look like the daily RSI is topping out here. So just bear that in mind. Again, not financial advice. So all in all, to sum up, I thought Riot had a good monthly operational report. That $9.5 million, I think, is a big deal. If they have to participate in curtailment, at least they're getting rewarded in a big way for it. In addition to that, I think everybody's happy that there is going to be no further stock dilution because they did not authorize the increase in the number of shares they were able to issue. And lastly, the executives did not get their compensation yet. We'll see what happens there. So that's what I've got for you on Riot, on their monthly operational update, and on their proxy vote. So if you made it this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.